Hey guys, what is up? Inksmith back again, and today I'm covering a very strange case I didn't really expect to cover suddenly out of nowhere, and that is covering a channel I've watched for quite a while called Glink. If you've never heard of Glink, he is a Armenian commentary YouTuber who was born March 28th, 1995, and he makes documentaries centered on entertainment, right-wing politics, news, international relations, and the like. He's done some very interesting and very well put together analytical commentary on things like anime conventions, the stress of both mental and physical proportions that are put upon streamers who have their life online. Glink's earliest videos were about the games and internet culture that he loved most and that I loved quite a bit as well. He examined events in social justice, history, and gave his perspective on them. He has made a number of videos about the state of gaming industry and the influence of media and other powers, such as the Chinese government, on those different aspects of gaming. He has also praised Nintendo's Zelda for a good female representation and getting away from the tropes that most video games have. Though not a mainstream commentary channel, his videos are known for being well edited and well written, and his video on live streaming and parasocial relationships were praised by Gokanadu and Junior EG. He kind of shifted though after a while, wanting his content to start to cover political news and events such as the North Korean imprisonment and killing of Odo Warmbier. And as of being Armenian descent, he is very vocal about the country's issues and history as well. So he's got a good social commentary on that as well. He has accused Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks of being an apologist for Armenian genocide deniers, calling her a disgrace to all Armenians everywhere. So that's a very loud statement he has made in the past, which I thought was very intelligent, well put together, and a great voice for Armenian culture. He also drew attention of Cengiz Uyghur's previous denial of the genocide, as well as articles he wrote denying it. On January 4th, 2021, he made a video about discovering his identity, revealing in America he was considered Armenian, and in Armenia he was considered American, and that the internet shaped his identity from a very early age. And when he got into his second channel, known as Glink IRL, it dedicated to him vlogging and making follow-up content related to his main channel's videos. Sometimes he vlogged himself at events such as the 2019 Women's March in Los Angeles. Other times he vlogged himself at home doing things like eating 2 boxes of protein pancakes with his friends. But they were still very interesting and, like I said, well put together and well edited. However, the channel is known best for his interviews with people, most controversial individuals or experts such as the Taiwanese criminal CJ Ride. He also streamed conversations with his friends such as PSA Stitch, and most of his interviews are with OnlyFans models discussing how their lives were affected by the OnlyFans platform, such as harassment, doxing, and the likes. I'm sure you know they go through those kind of problems. He once streamed himself donating to e-girls such as Project Melody, and occasionally he will make cooking videos like his grandmother's Armenian recipes. So he's got a wide and vast horizon of things that he makes videos about, and they're all, like I said, well edited, well put together, and extremely high quality content. I don't think anybody can deny any of that, whether you like him or dislike him. His content is really great. Now, this is where we kind of get into a weird situation, and that is his very first controversy. Now, this one was kind of luckily brushed under the rug, and I don't really think he deserved a lot of hate on this. I think it was just misconstrued by the way he approached it. And in his most popular video, he was accused of defaming Etika, but he claimed he wasn't and was commenting under the video, "This video was made at a time where I had not known Etika. Not long after this, I got the opportunity to meet him in person and apologize. And later, I started enjoying his content. Each Nintendo Direct, I anticipated watching his hilarious reactions and takes. As time passed, I saw him go through his mental issues and felt horrible knowing how much he must have been suffering. Now I feel even worse for his passing. Those comments made in this video were out of ignorance to who Etika actually was at the time. They are a blemish on me and they don't represent how I grew to know and appreciate who Etika was and what he did. That is why I've decided to edit out my channel's comments referring to him simply as overreacting. Etika stood for much more than that. He brought joy and laughter to millions of people, including myself. I want to honor his legacy, not tarnish it. So what we're looking at is in the past where he actually ran into his first controversy. He came out and was very self-aware. He apologized. He said what he did wrong. He admitted to how he handled it being a bad idea. And he realized later when he actually got to know the person that they were really a great person and a super good guy who he felt actually pretty bad about talking and commenting on. So that's very interesting to watch. Most of these people that I cover when I do a downfall video are not very self-aware. So I will definitely give Glink that. He is by far the most self-aware YouTuber I have covered in this series of the fall of YouTubers. Now, where things get weird is after approaching around 450,000 subscribers, he started to get into a mode where he got into, I guess, the holistics or spiritual meaning behind taking microdoses of LSD and experimenting with hallucinogenics, which I'm not against any kind of drug use. Look, if every drug could be free and regulated, I'm totally okay with that. I'm not any kind of anti-drug person or anything like that, or harshly conservative in that way. But it seems like this really took him down a sort of a wild path because he expanded his videos into not only covering social issues like the ones on YouTube and Twitch, but the ones in LA as well, as far as the homeless are concerned, their struggle with being below the poverty line, trying to own a foothold in any sort of property, dealing with the constant kickouts of all different types of shelters and places that get knocked down and rebuilt so that homeless people can't live there anymore, getting kicked out of their tents and areas like that. It's a real struggle there, and I really do believe LA's got a huge problem with the homeless. And I don't mean that the homeless are a problem. I mean that they don't treat them correctly or give them the proper utilities that they need to survive and gain a better grasp on life in general. And I think he brought that to light very well. But I also started to notice that he was starting to go down this very spiritual path, or this sort of altruistic path, which is great because you can use YouTube for good. And I think Glink has tried to do that. But where I think he got left sort of going astray was that he saw how well those LA videos did and decided he could do something bigger and decided to create this thing called Lightwave. Well, what exactly is Lightwave? Let's stop and take a look.
There is a revolution upon us, an unseen movement of artists, creators, and engineers brewing in the shadows, the far corners of the internet. On their own, these individuals are creating great content, but together, these beacons of light can form a wave.
And they will blossom into something beautiful, something that can be shown to the world. If only it had a stage. Lightwave is that stage.
Through the power of the internet, coming to you live through the power of the internet. Boogie 2988, he's gonna be there. Boogie's gonna be there.
So that was Lightwave. What did you think it was by watching that trailer? Did you figure it out yet? Let's see, we saw some famous YouTubers like Wang, Boogie2988, and some street performances and stuff like that, busking, hipsters dancing. But what is Lightwave? Well, I think to this day, everybody's still asking what Lightwave was, because what it actually was, or what would be a better trailer, would be this picture.
Don't you want to be there? The thrilling content.
dance concert in Austin, Texas. If you look behind me, you can see how successful it was. How did this happen?
Oh my god. The pain that you can sense from her face.
He doesn't want to be there.
No, she doesn't.
So as you can probably tell just by these couple of videos covering it, there's a bunch more out there. Nick DiOrio covered it as well. This event did not go so well, and it's a rather strange situation why this event was even held. Number one, none of the people you saw in the trailer at the beginning even knew this event was happening. Boogie2988 had a response on Twitter like, I've never gotten an email, never been invited, never heard about this. I don't know why I was expected to come. Destiny, someone who actually Glink had a bit of an online stream with before, absolutely refused to show up because he knew how bad this was going to be. And apparently they spent $15,000 on security for him, which he completely denies he would even need, so he's unsure why they even mentioned that or if it actually even happened. This whole event cost Glink somewhere in the realm of $15,000. He apparently spent quite a bit on this, and it did not go very well. It didn't turn out well at all. On top of it, it was taking place at the same time VidCon was, so it's really confusing why Glink thought anybody was going to show up to this, or how he would even get these speakers to appear at something happening parallel to VidCon. I mean, if a influencer has a choice between showing up at VidCon and meeting all their fans and finally getting to talk and communicate with the commenters on their own videos and getting the word out there about whatever their agenda is on YouTube, or showing up to an event in Austin, Texas that had little to no propaganda about it, no marketing, and a really quick 1-minute video 3 weeks before it was about to happen, yeah, of course they would choose VidCon. Now, I don't know what was going through Glink's mind, but here's what some of the comments say. And look, I'm not backing up any of these comments and saying these people are 100% right, Glink needs to listen to this advice, but they seem pretty, how would I say, in dismay over what has happened. Let's read what people said on the actual video, because this live stream went on for 8 hours straight. 8 hours of this, of just kind of like poorly mic'd, nobody in the audience, random speakers nobody's ever heard of, even at a point where they start interviewing the DJ and it's just awkward and strange. The commenters say, this poorly organized and basically unmarketed event should serve as a permanent reminder to take it easy on psychedelics. The mind and the perception of reality can be a fragile thing. This was like a hippie equivalent of watching a teacher struggle to operate a projector, only stretch it out for 6 hours. The whole thing just leaves me kind of confused. I barely remember you talking about or coming up with this idea. I get where you're wanting to make a public forum, but in the original video, it seemed like a music concert. Big video with not a lot of guidance on what is going on or where. I'm just skipping through it, trying to find something, anything. Organizing, promoting, and running events is tough. So I get it, but geez, the shots of completely empty auditorium were tough. And huge shout out to the DJ for keeping her cool. No shame in playing an empty crowd, so as long as you get paid. The venue is not empty. Glink is just practicing advanced social distancing. I swear, this isn't coming from a place of hate, but you gotta reevaluate things before everything you've worked so hard for is destroyed. He reminds me of a college freshman getting in their I am an adult and very smart phase. Well, it was good while it lasted. I'd say some of us will still be here if you ever come back to reality. Dude, I love you, but you gotta take it easy on psychedelics. I used to do acid for 6 months straight, every 3 to 4 days, and reality was disconnected for me. I've been seeing this in your videos recently, and your secondary channel is very reminiscent of what my mindset was when I was tripping constantly. You gotta slow down. This looks like a perfect festival for introverts. Damn, man, I respect your courage, and I'm sorry it didn't pan out. There's always next time. This is the most non-event in history of events. So, as you can probably tell, even Glink's own fans are very confused by this and unsure where he is going with the channel. And I gotta agree somewhat, I mean, it did start out as a channel being a commentary on very tough political issues or things that were the current zeitgeist as far as gaming and streaming were concerned, and that was very interesting. It did start to get into a realm of Glink talking about psychedelics, and a lot of people seem to think that he's done so many psychedelics at this point that he's making very random and strange sorts of videos where he thinks there's going to be a larger crowd to watch them than there really is. A lot of people's biggest message for his constructing this whole Lightwave concert talk stage, whatever you want to call it, was that he really shouldn't have done this at only 450,000 subs, which I pretty much agree with. I have held events before with my own channel, my past channel, not this one, and it's a small channel. It's only 100K, and it got about 200 to 300 people there, but I did it for a thing that everybody does, and that was a Hanami party. If you don't know what that is, it's just a cherry blossom party. And what I pretty much do is I announce it almost 2 months ahead of time. I make it in a place where it's free to come in and everybody knows the place in the city. It's a giant park and castle that's actually in the middle of Osaka where I live, and everybody knows how to get there, and probably most of them were going to go anyway because everybody celebrates Hanami around the same time. Otherwise, they miss the cherry blossoms blooming at a specific time. It also doesn't parallel to any other event going on at the time. And those are a couple factors that I think about before I ever hold those events. And even for those, I only get like 200 to 300 people to show up. So they're not massive events, and I'm not a massive channel, and I never really expect that many people to show up. I'm not really sure what Glink was thinking with this situation, where, first of all, you'd have to expect so many creators to be in Austin, Texas to begin with, but he was also asking big names to come and speak there at that who did not live in Austin, Texas. And why would they even pay for their own trip out there? Why would they come out when they have no hotel booked? Why would they skip VidCon and come to this instead? Now, I have a bit of a theory, and this may be what is going on. Glink said after making this, just recently he posted a community board post, which just lets you kind of talk to your viewers and let them know what you're thinking or what you have in mind next. And his latest post said, I'm about to talk about how this went down, making a video now. It's going to be a documentary. And I think there's 3 different ways this documentary can go, or this video can go, or this commentary on what exactly happened with Lightwave can go. Number 1, he can deny how bad it went and pretend like, oh, I meant for this not to have anybody there. Or I meant for it to be this way and be an empty forum with bad sound and bad lighting and bad camera work and an empty audience. Isn't that what you guys think this is? Because that's what it's supposed to be, and he just doesn't take any blame for it and goes along with it. But I do realize that, he does seem very self-respective in the sense of looking in on himself and being introspective on the issues at hand in his own life. So he could, number 2, take a step back and say, guys, I totally screwed this up. I don't know if he's going to blame psychedelics or whatever he's on recently. I don't really think that's a great excuse, and I don't think that's really something that can affect somebody to the point that they make a crazy event like this, although I'm not really in tune with the whole world of psychedelics, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Correct me in the comments below if I am. Or number 3, he may come out and say that this was all a big gag, a cringe fest, a meme, a memeable moment. I'm not sure. But at the same time, even if he does that, I do want to press F to doubt, because I don't think this was a actual planned failure. I think this did come out to be a failure, and if Glint actually addresses it in the proper way and says, look, I really wanted to do this was my purpose, and it failed miserably. I need to regroup and reconsider. I need to get my life back in order, and I need to realize in the future, if I ever want to have one of these again, I need to be more constructive and build a better preparation for one of these to go down. I think everybody can respect that. I also think he probably needs to get back in tune with some of his earlier work that we all kind of locked into to watch Glink, and his channel could go right back to where it was. I don't think this is the end for Glink. I think this is a minor fall for him if he is self-introspective enough to see how much of a failure this was. If he doesn't, well, the future looks grim. You know, this is a tough situation because I like Glink. I think he's a good dude. I think he has good intentions. And I don't know how much I really want to blame him diving into the world of psychedelics. He did momentarily comment on a Destiny stream once that he had been doing something like 1.5 milligrams of acid every day, which that doesn't seem like a ton, but I'm also, once again, not an expert on psychedelics. I don't think that's enough that would send you tripping into a realm of let me create wild events that nobody attends. But once again, I'm not an expert on this stuff. I'm just very, very confused and hoping this counts more as a warning to not fall rather than the end of a great YouTuber's story. What do you guys think? Did you ever check in on this? Have you heard anything about it? What's your thoughts on the whole Lightwave fiasco that Glink had go down with this? How do you feel about him having Ice Poseidon there? I think that's pretty crappy. I don't know why you would give that guy a platform. He's pretty gross at this point, having stolen his fans' money, and I'm not going to downplay that at all and pretend like, oh no, Ice Poseidon just made a mistake and did a rug pull by accident on the Bitcoin he put out there. That guy's scum, and he stole a bunch of money from his fans, and I am unsure why Glink gave this guy a platform. There's some other people there too where I'm just kind of like, ugh, kind of gross, not sure why you would have them on. The whole getting into like COVID controversies and saying that that's a conspiracy theory. I wouldn't have anybody on like that. It's just craziness for me. Too much craziness for me. Anyway, guys, love to hear your thoughts on this Glink situation in the comments down below. Do you watch Glink? Have you watched him in the past? Have you watched some of the documentaries that he's done? And what do you think of this Lightwave thing? This is a short one for today, but something I wanted to cover because I found it so interesting nonetheless. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I've been the Inksmith, and I'll talk to you again real soon.